Alright, so today we're looking at depreciation. Thanks, Kyle. So the heading today is depreciation.
Welcome to our maths class with Mrs. Angels.
Thanks, Kyle. Okay, depreciation. Who can tell me what? Who can tell me what they understand depreciation to mean?
It's how much your car loses value.
It's what? It's about losing value. Okay.
Not the car, it's just the car.
So it's losing value. Okay, so when you buy a new car, the second you drive it out of the dealership, it depreciates in value. It is worth less than the day you bought it. Okay? There are exceptions. There are some vintage cars that will not depreciate. They actually appreciate in value. They're special cars. But generally, they depreciate and then they appreciate. That's correct. So what we're looking at today is depreciation. There are two types of depreciation. The first one is called straight line depreciation. Okay, and the second one is called declining balance. We're going to look at this topic over 2 lessons. Today we're only going to focus on straight line depreciation, and we'll look at declining, except that's not how you spell it. Declining balance method. We'll look at that next lesson. Okay. You right? Okay, so the straight line depreciation, we know it means that it's going down, that it's losing value. Shh. You want to go back for a second? Okay, we know that it's going down and it's losing value. A straight line, what do we know if it's a straight line? What must a line have to be straight? Must be linear, must have a constant gradient. So it must be going down by the same amount each year. So that's the key component of straight line depreciation, is that it goes down the same amount every year. So that's our most important point. Oh, that didn't quite finish. Oh, that's a bit dodgy. Now we've spent quite a few lessons looking at how to find the equation of a straight line, and we know what's on our formula sheet. What is the equation of a straight line? Y equals
mx plus b.
Well done. Y equals mx plus b. Now, this is what we have been using. We're going to have a special straight line depreciation version of this. It's still the same idea. We still have a gradient. We still have a y-intercept, but they use different letters and it appears on your formula sheet. Okay? So instead of having y, we're going to talk about what it's worth. So if you sell your car at any point in time, what it's worth is called its salvage value. So the y is going to be replaced with a letter S.
You figured out how much my car's worth?
Not today. So we're going to have S. S stands for salvage value.
Why are you selling that?
Okay, so S is what it's worth, or what you would salvage if you sell it. The B, the y-intercept. Now remember, the y-intercept is where you cross the y-axis. If we're looking at the beginning of when you owned the car, what is the car worth? It's worth how much you paid for it. We're going to call that V, 0 for its initial value. Just to be tricky, we're going to write these in the opposite order. Okay, so our B is going to be V0. So V0 means the initial value. Okay, and that is our y-intercept. in the formula sheet it's that way, so I want you to recognise how it's written. Okay, the gradient is going to have to be negative, isn't it? Because it's depreciating, it's going down. Kyle. So it's going down in value, so it's going to be a negative gradient. And because it's depreciation, we're going to call it D for depreciation. Okay, so D is the value that it goes down each period. Now generally, when we're looking at cars, we're talking about years. So that would be the amount it goes down each year. So remember, period is whatever time value we're looking at. And then instead of having an X, we're going to look about... Shh, you right, Oliver?
That was crazy. I choked.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So our X this time is going to be time. But we're not going to use T. We're going to use N for the number of periods. Okay? So this is going to be an N here.
What's the one next to the B?
This is actually a bit tricky. The whole thing, V0, we've not seen that before.
So is it a 0?
It's a 0. So the V with a little 0, that's not an operation to do anything. That's just actually V0 is the letter that we're using. Okay, it's just got a little subscript on it that you have to keep there. And then the N is the number of periods.
Just read my text.
Okay, so these... Hundreds. Oliver. This information is given to you on your formula sheet. You don't have to memorise it, but you have to understand how it works, and you have to use your knowledge of straight lines to answer the question. So, for example, we need to know that this is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept will always be the initial value. The gradient will always be what we're depreciating each period. And our y-axis will have S on it, and our x-axis will have N on it. Okay, does everyone understand how that links to the straight line? Cool. All right, let's try a question.
Wait, let me write that down.
That time's up.
No, I'm just going to write that raw. Are you feeling alright?
How close are you to done?
I'm just doing the raw. That's all. Is that D-O?
Yeah, so remember, this is not a separate thing. It's all linked. V0 is just initial value. It's got a subscript. Subscript. Are we good?
No.
You right?
I'm alright.
Okay, you good? Alright. Okay, so we're going to look at examples. So we need someone to buy a car. Let's say...
Me! I'm buying a new car.
Did we had the other car bought car yesterday?
Andy's buying a car.
Andy's going to buy a car. Alright, Andy's buying a car.
Andy can't even drive a car.
Too bad. Andy bought a car.
Ah. What are you buying? What are you buying?
You're on YouTube, Andy.
I bet you she buys this.
Okay, Andy bought a car and it's worth
30.
35. It was an expensive car.
Take the line.
Okay, come on. We're ignoring this question, the complex about all the other stuff and loans and everything. We're just saying that the car was worth...
What colour? Green.
Blue.
Blue.
Andy, grey.
Oh.
Okay, Andy bought a grey car. Silver.
Sylvia.
That's actually not important to the question, okay?
Did you say Silva or Sylvia?
Shh. Wait.
What brand of car?
Come on, let's focus.
No, probably Honda.
Okay. So Andy bought a car worth 35,000. That's what it's worth. It's not necessarily what she paid. She may have had on-road. She obviously had on-road costs and things. That's not included in what the car is worth. Okay. In the first year, it loses 6% of its value. Okay.
So does the driver.
Kyle.
on straight line.
Yeah. We're only looking at straight line today.
Oh, okay.
That's $2,000.
Okay, so let's work out how much is worth at the end of 1 year. What would I do? I want to know how much is worth at the end of that year. And he's owned this car for a year. She wants to know what it's worth. How are you going to work it out? Don't just guess.
Minus $2,000 off 35, roughly.
I don't want roughly. I want to know exactly what it's
6
worth.
over 100 times 35,000.
And then you minus that from the initial 35,000.
Minus that from the
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Well done. 2,000. 2,100.
Oh, that was a really good job.
So in the first year, Oliver. Shh. In the first year, the car's lost 2,100. So what's it worth? We're going to use the letter S.
1,100 left.
So it's just 35,000 minus 2,100.
Good job, Carl.
Yep, which would be what?
Oh god, I don't know. 32,900.
Well done, Kyle. In your head, that is calculator. Okay, who needs a calculator? Tim. Shh. Stop wasting time, please.
Yeah, stop wasting time.
Okay, so we know the salvage value after 1 year is this. So I'm going to add a subscript to my S and call that S1. Because I know after 1 year, it's worth 32,900. Now I want to know what it's worth after 4 years. Okay, so this time I'm looking for after 4 years. Now I'm going to use the rule that we wrote on the last page, which was S equals V0 minus dn. So S equals V0 minus d times n.
That's a P. Come on.
Are you hassling my handwriting? Is that pretty enough? Okay. Okay, so S equals V0 minus dn. What are these values? What is V0?
Initial value.
The initial value, which was what for this question? 35,000. It's depreciating the same every year, so what's D going to be?
Wait, how do we know it depreciates?
Because I would have written in the question if I'd written the question properly.
Okay.
The question has to tell you that. Okay?
2,100?
It's going to be 2,100. So we're assuming straight line depreciation. The question has to tell you that. And what's N?
The number of
The number of years, which is 4. Grab a calculator, type it in. What do we get?
Wait, left, right.
Wait, Miss, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
So it's not 6% on the price and then 6% on the. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not 6% of.
You've discovered what we're going to look at next lesson, which would be the declining balance method. So the 6% and then the 6% and then the 6%, we're going to look at that next lesson.
Right.
This is a much simpler version where it's just the same, 2,100 every year. So it's really, really simple. That method is next lesson.
Okay.
Okay?
So I'm just thinking so far ahead.
You are. You're just ahead of us.
I know, but it's just so far.
Alright, don't put that nose on. That's annoying. No. Nobody wants to hear that noise. Okay, and the final answer?
131,000.
Andy, stop.
What? Isn't it?
No.
I got 26,600.
That's better. 26,600. So after 4 years, Andy's car, if she wants to sell it, is worth 26,600. Okay, so that's what the